So today we'll be doing a little more reading, which is not my usual thing. I don't like to read so much when I'm giving class, but Nityananda Prabhu has provided some interesting material here for us regarding the advent of Govardhan Puja. And so we will be reading some from that, since I don't know the stories well enough to tell them and include all the details from memory. So we'll chant first, invoke the blessings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jaya This is a brief summary, just a short one-page summary of how Sri Giriraj Govardhan came to Braj Bhumi, Sri Vrindavan Dham. In the western coast of India, in the island of Saumali, lived Dronachala, the king of the mountains. Once a sage by the name of Pulastya Muni came to him to take his son Giriraj with him to Kashi, or Varanasi. After offering some initial resistance, Giriraj somehow agreed to go with him only on condition that he should not put him down on the earth in between. If he did, then Sri Giriraj would stay there forever. When they were flying over the Braj Bhumi, Giriraj increased his weight to the extent that Pulastya had no option but to put him down. And there's another version of that story too, the reason that he had to put him down. Does anybody know that? Pulastya Muni was somehow or other, coincidentally, he had to answer the call of nature. So he was forced to put down Sri Giriraj. But we'll go on with this version. Pulastya understood the mischief of Giriraj. He became furious and cursed him that he would decrease by a grain every day. And we've also heard that to be the width or the diameter of a mustard seed, right? That he would decrease in size. But then, repenting on the curse he gave to Giriraj, he assured him that he would be blessed in the Dwapara Yuga, and everybody would start worshiping him from that time on. This happened in the Satya Yuga. Brahmaji wished to create the Dwapara Yuga, but because of the portentous phenomenon of Ravan, he had to create the Treta Yuga. In this Yuga, Hanumanji, on the instructions of Lord Ram, came to take Giriraj for the cause of constructing a pull on the ocean. Interesting term, pull. What does that mean? Bridge? Giriraj had once agreed to go for the service of Lord Ram, but before they reached the place, the pool was ready and there was no need of additional stones. Giriraj was very disappointed on not having the darshan of Lord Ram. On knowing the sorrow of Giriraj, Lord Ram sent a message saying that by the end of Dwapara Yuga, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, will himself appear and play on you and will also worship you. In the Kali Yuga, the devotees shall attain numerous divine supernatural powers by worshiping you. Has anybody gotten those powers yet? You're still waiting. In Saraswati Kalpa, that is, at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, Bhagavan Shri Krishna stopped the worship of Indra and started the Govardhan Puja by doing it himself. It was a wonderful sight. Being worshipped by Shri Krishna, Giriraj himself became like Shri Krishna. It was like he, Shri Krishna, worshipping himself. Since then, all the 6 seasons resided permanently on Giriraj. And that's the brief little summary. Now we'll go to the Sri Garga Samhita. This is the Canto 3, Chapter 1, entitled The Worship of Sri Giriraj, Sri Giriraj Puja Vidhi. Sri Bahulashva asked Narada, why did Lord Krishna lift Govardhan Hill as a child playfully lifts a mushroom? O best of sages, please tell that wonderful and glorious pastime of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Narada said, as citizens pay an annual tax to their king, so the Gopas, farmers all, at the end of each monsoon season offered a tribute to Indra. Noticing the arrangements for the Indra Yajna, as the Gopas listened, Krishna asked a question of King Nanda, his father, of course. Sri Krishna said, and I guess Krishna at this time was a child of, 5, 6 years old? Is that the way it's stated? Krishna said, what is the result of this worship of Indra? Do they say it brings a material result or a spiritual result? Sri Nanda said, worship of Indra brings both sense gratification and liberation. Without it, a person cannot be happy in this world. Sri Krishna said, Indra and the other demigods enjoy living in Swargaloka because of their past karma. When their good karma is exhausted, they again enter the world of humans. Please understand that worshiping them does not bring liberation. Even the demigod Brahma is afraid of them. So what may be said of fruitive workers on the earth? They are actually wise to say that endless time is most powerful, the supreme. With all their heart renouncing all material pious results, the wise take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship Him with the best of pious deeds. They, and not others, attain final liberation. The cows, saintly persons, fire gods, demigods, Vedas, and principles of religion are all potencies of Lord Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They who, instead of worshiping the demigods, worship Lord Hari, attain happiness in this life and the next. The hill named Govardhan is the king of the kings of the kings of mountains. It was born from Lord Hari's own chest. It has come here by the power of Pulastya Muni. By seeing it, one becomes free from having to take birth again in this world. Did you get that? Pretty good guarantee, huh? By seeing Govardhan Hill, one becomes free from having to take birth again in this world. When, oh when, will that day be mine? First, worship the cows, brahmanas, and demigods, and then make a great offering to Govardhan Hill. That offering is the king of yajnas, and it is very dear to me. If you do not desire to make that offering, then do whatever you wish. Krishna talking to Nanda Maharaj. Sri Narada said, among them the elderly Gopa, Sananda, who thoroughly knew the principles of religion, became very pleased. As bewildered Nanda listened, Sananda spoke to Lord Krishna. Sri Sananda said, Dear son of Nanda, you are wealthy with a great treasury of transcendental knowledge. How should the hill be worshipped? Please truthfully tell. Sri Krishna said, a person who controls his senses and engages in devotional service should collect the ingredients for the worship, anoint Govardhan Hill with cow dung, and as he chants the mantras for the 1,000-headed Purush with other brahmanas, bathe the hill with Ganga water and Jamuna water. Then he should bathe the hill with streams of white milk, panamrita, fragrant flowers, and then Jamuna water again. Then he should offer splendid garments, food, a great throne, many garlands and ornaments, and many lamps. Then he should circumambulate the hill, offering obeisances, and with folded hands recite this mantra. Namo Vrindavanakaya Tubhyam Goloka Maline Puna Brahmata Patraya Nama Govardhanaya Cha. Obeisances to you, who are Goloka's crown and the lap where Vrindavan forest grows. Obeisances to Govardhan Hill, the Supreme Personality of Godhead's parasol. Then he should offer a handful of flowers, and then as mridangas, karatals, and other musical instruments make sweet sounds, he should offer artik to Govardhan Hill. Then he should chant the mantra again that begins with Vedaham, and then he should throw a shower of grains. In this way he should worship the hill. Then with great faith he should place a hill of food near Govardhan Hill. And here's a note that says the mantra here is Sri Shvetashvatar Upanishad 3:8. Vedaham metam purusham mahantam adityavarnam tamasa purustat tam eva viditvati mrityam etinanya pata vidyate yanya. I know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness. Only he who knows him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than this knowledge of the Supreme Person. That was the mantra. Then he should offer 4, 6, and 5 cups of Ganga and Jamuna water mixed with tulsi leaves. Then with a peaceful heart he should serve Govardhan Hill by offering it a feast of 56 kinds of food. Then with fragrant flowers he should worship the fire gods, brahmanas, cows, and demigods. After feeding the exalted brahmanas with fragrant and delicious foods, he should also give excellent foods to the others, even down to the dog-eaters. Then he should have the gopas and gopis dance among the cows and call out victory. I guess that means jai. In this way he should perform a festival to worship Govardhan Hill. Now please hear how this worship should be performed when one is not near Govardhan Hill. One should make from cow dung a model of Govardhan Hill. We do halava, right? Cake. Incredibly edible. Cake. So we have made Govardhan Hills out of halava, haven't we? Halava. Human beings on this earth should decorate that model with many flowers, blades of grass, and network of vines, and regularly offer worship to it. A person who has a mountain of gold but does not use it to worship a stone he has taken from Govardhan Hill goes to a terrible hell. A person who regularly worships the Lord's form as Shalagram Shila is not touched by hell, as a lotus leaf is not touched by water. Now the term here, Shalagram Shila, I was wondering if that should have been Govardhan Shila. Narottam Prabhu is shaking his head positively. An exalted Brahmana who regularly serves a stone from Govardhan Hill attains the result of having bathed in all the holy rivers and lakes in the 7 worlds. So this is the beginning then of Canto 3, Chapter 2, the great festival of Sri Giriraj. This is Sri Giriraj Mahotsava. Sri Narada said, hearing Krishna's words, Nanda, Sananda, and the other rulers of Braj were filled with wonder. Abandoning what they had done, they performed the worship of Govardhan Hill. O King of Mithila, taking many offerings, King Nanda, Yashoda, their 2 sons, Krishna and Balaram, and Gargamuni, all eager and joyful, went to worship Govardhan Hill. Quickly climbing on a wonderfully decorated great elephant chained with golden shackles, Nanda went, with the many cows and the wealth of autumn harvest, to the edge of Govardhan Hill. He looked like Indra himself, accompanied by his beloved. Bringing the ingredients for performing the Jagya, the Nandas, the Upanandas, and the Vrishabhanus, along with their wives, children, and grandchildren, went to Govardhan Hill. Dressed in splendid garments and jewel ornaments, and eager as a chakori bird or a bumblebee, as she rode on a palanquin with her friends, Radha looked like Sachi herself. O King, nicely decorated, gracefully moving 2 beautiful chamaras, accompanied by millions of gopi friends, and their faces splendid as 2 moons. Nice description, huh? Radha's best friends, Lalita and Vishaka, gloriously stood by her side. Then Rama, Viraja, Madhavi, Maya, Jamuna, and Ganga, accompanied by 32, 8, and 16 groups of gopis, arrived. Interesting how these numbers are recorded. In their previous verse, these gopis had been the women of Mithila, the women of Koshala, the personified Vedas, the great sages, the women of Ayodhya, the Yagyasitas, the women of the forest, the women of Vaikuntha who have Ram as their leader, the women of the highest Vaikuntha realm, the women of various effulgent realms, the women of Dhruvaloka and Lokachala. Lakshmi's friends, splendid with 3 transcendental virtues, the women riding in airplanes, vines and plants, Jalandharis, the daughters of the ocean, the daughters of King Barhishmati, the women of Sutalaloka, the Apsaras, and all the serpent king's daughters. Now as girls of Braja, nicely decorated in their hands, splendid with many offerings, they approached Govardhan Hill. Interesting that the great sages in the past were included now among these women, these young women. Then the Gopa men, adolescents, and boys dressed in yellow garments, wearing turbans, crowned with peacock feathers, and decorated with beautiful necklaces, gunja, and the forest garlands, and holding new flutes and sticks, came. Hearing of the Govardhan festival from my mouth, I think this is Gargamuna speaking, Narada speaking. Carrying the Ganga in his matted locks, wearing a necklace of skulls, the anointed body with a powder of bones, decorated with a garland and bracelets of many snakes, reeling from having drunk datura poison, accompanied by Parvati and his many associates, and riding on his carrier Nanda, who came to the circle of Govardhan Hill? Lord Shiva. Many thousands of Rajarshis, Viprarshis, Surarshis, Siddhesas, Yogeshwars, Paramahansas, and Brahmanas came to see Govardhan Hill. O king, its stone jewels, its many peaks golden, and its forms splendid with intoxicated bees, beautiful caves, and swiftly flowing streams. Govardhan Hill was like a great elephant. Then manifesting human-like forms and bearing auspicious gifts in their hands, the mountain kings, headed by Mount Meru and Mount Himalaya, offered their respectful obeisances, bowing down to the human-like form of Govardhan Hill. Following Krishna's instructions, Nanda, the king of Braja, had many brahmanas worship Govardhan Hill. Then Nanda worshipped the brahmanas, the fire gods, and cows, and then gave a very opulent offering to Govardhan Hill. Pleased by the earnestly singing Nandas, Upanandas, Rishabhanus, Gopas, and Gopis, Lord Krishna circumambulated Govardhan Hill, the king of mountains. As the demigods showered flowers and the Brajabasis showered grains, Govardhan Hill, the great king of the kings of mountains, glistened with great glory as if it were a great monarch in the midst of a yajna. Manifesting a gigantic form different from his own, Lord Krishna appeared from the midst of Govardhan Hill, declaring, I am this hill. He ate the entire hill of food that was offered. Seeing Govardhan Hill's great power and opulence, and their hearts full of joy and wonder, the Gopas and Gopis asked the hill to grant them a benediction. They said, the Gopas know you are the deity worshipped by the kings of mountains. Nanda's son Krishna has shown your true nature to us. Please grant that day after day our relatives, friends, and cows may prosper. Manifesting a handsome divine form decorated with crown and armlets, Govardhan Hill, the king of the kings of mountains, said, so be it, and suddenly disappeared. The Nandas, Upanandas, Rishabhanus, Balaram, Suchandra, King Rishabhanu, King Nanda, Krishna, all the Gopas, Gopis, and cows, the Brahmanas, the Siddhas, and Yogeshwars headed by Lord Shiva, as well as everyone else, bowed down and worshipped Govardhan Hill. Then, happy at heart and all their desires fulfilled, they returned to their own homes. In this way, I have described to you Sri Krishna Chandra's transcendental pastime of offering a great festival to worship Govardhan Hill, the king of the kings of mountains. This wonderful and purifying narration frees people from the greatest sins. So this is chapter 3, the lifting of Sri Govardhan. Sri Govardhan Odarana. Sri Narada said, when from my mouth he heard that his sacrifice had been stopped, and a festival for Govardhan performed in his place, Indra became furious. Leave it to Narada to be inciting a riot somewhere. Unleashing the Sangvataka clouds used at the time of cosmic destruction, Indra sent them to destroy Braja. The clouds thundered with anger. They were many wonderful colors, some black, some yellow, some green, some the color of an Indragopa insect, some the color of camphor, and some the color of blue lotuses. Furious, they showered raindrops as big as elephants and thunderbolts as big as elephant trunks. Big as mountain peaks, millions of rocks fell. The wind threw away many trees and houses. O king of Mithila, the earth was filled with ferocious, terrifying, and devastating sounds of thunder. The entire universe, with the 7 planetary systems and the expanses of outer space, echoed with the sounds of thunder. The elephants holding the directions trembled. The stars fell to the circle of the earth. Wishing to save themselves, the Gopas and their families, with the children in front, ran to Nanda's palace. Terrified, the people of Braja bowed down before the 2 supreme lords, Krishna and Balaram, surrendered to them, and took shelter of them. The Gopa said, Balaram, Balaram, O mighty armed, Krishna, Krishna, O master of Braja, save your people from these calamities brought by Indra. By your word we have stopped the Indra Yajna and offered a festival for Govardhan Hill. Now Indra is angry. What shall we do? Please tell us. Seeing the Gopas, gopis, cows, calves, and all of Gokula very upset, calm and peaceful, Krishna spoke to the gopis. Sri Krishna said, Don't be afraid. With your dependents go to Govardhan Hill. He accepts our worship. He will protect us. Sri Narada said, after speaking these words, Lord Krishna went with his own people to Govardhan Hill. Lifting the hill, Krishna playfully held it aloft with one hand. As a child effortlessly holds a mushroom, or as an elephant holds a lotus in his tongue, so Krishna, the Prince of Braja, the kind Supreme Personality of Godhead, held Govardhan Hill. Lord Krishna said to the Gopas, Father, mother, kings of the Gopas, take your relatives, associates, household paraphernalia, wealth, and cows, and go beneath the hill. There you need not fear Indra. When they heard Lord Krishna's words, the Gopas took their families, cows, and household paraphernalia and went under the hill. O king, when Krishna asked, Balaram and all the boys of his age steadied the hill with their sticks. When Krishna asked, then Balaram and all the boys of his age steadied the hill with their sticks. I guess Krishna was having trouble holding it steady. Seeing a great flood of water coming, in his mind Lord Krishna ordered Lord Shesha and the Sudarshan Chakra to come under the hill. Brilliant as 10 million suns, the Sudarshan Chakra hovered above the hill and drank up the falling streams of water as Agastya Muni drank up the ocean. Coiling himself around the hill, Shesha stopped the incoming flood as a shoreline stops the waters of an ocean. For 7 days, Lord Krishna steadily held Govardhan Hill. As if they had become chakora birds, the stunned Gopas gazed at Lord Krishna Chandra. Interesting that we often hear the name Lord Ramchandra, but very seldom have I, or if ever, have I heard the name Krishna Chandra. Have you? What's your name? Have you heard that? Sri Ram? You've heard that before? Krishna Chandra. Mounting his maddened elephant Ayaravata and accompanied by his armies, furious Indra went to the circle of Braja. Wishing to destroy Nanda's village, Indra threw his thunderbolt from far away. Krishna suddenly paralyzed both the thunderbolt and the arm that threw it. Terrified, Indra fled with the demigods and Sangvataka clouds as if he were an elephant wounded by a lion. Suddenly the sun rose, the clouds were gone, the wind stopped, and the streams carried very little water. The ground dried up, the sky became clear, and the animals and birds became happy. By Krishna's order, the Gopas, taking their wealth and the cows with them, slowly emerged from under the hill. Then Krishna, the lifter of Govardhan Hill, said to his friends, "Go out." They said to him, "You go first." "We will hold the hill with our own strength." Then Krishna, the lifter of Govardhan Hill, shifted half of the hill's weight to the talkative Gopa boys. That burden made the Gopa boys fall, devastated to the ground. With one hand, Krishna picked them all up. Then, as everyone watched with a playful flourish, Krishna set the hill down where it was before. O King, the Gopas and Gopis, now understanding that Nanda's son Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worshipped him, showered him with unbroken grains of rice, offered him many foods made with milk and yogurt, and humbly bowed down before him. O King, then Nanda, Yashoda, Rohini, and the Gopa elders headed by Sananda embraced Krishna, gave him great wealth, and filled with kindness and love, spoke many benedictions, blessing him. O King, singing and dancing and playing musical instruments, the people of Braja approached Lord Krishna and worshipped him. In this way, all of their desires were fulfilled. Then the jubilant demigods showered beautiful flowers grown in the beautiful Nandana gardens, and the Gandharvas and Siddhas in the higher planets sang the glories of Sri Krishna, the lifter of Govardhan Hill. Then chapter 4 is entitled The Coronation Bathing of Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna Abhishek. Sri Narada said, then accompanied by the demigods, Indra went to a secluded place on Govardhan Hill and bowed down before Lord Krishna. Sri Indra said, you are the master of the demigods, the supreme controller, the Lord who is perfect and complete, the oldest, the supreme person, greater than the greatest and above the material energy, the supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Hari. O master of the spiritual sky, O master of the universes, please save me, please save me. You are the original supreme personality of Godhead, perfect and complete, who descends as the 10 avatars, desiring to protect the Vedic scriptures and the cows of piety, desiring also to kill the demons headed by Kamsa. You have taken birth in this world. O master of the spiritual sky, as a father forgives his son, please forgive me, a proud fool bewildered by your illusory potency, a fool who has become a great reservoir of offenses to you. O master of the demigods, O home where the universes dwell, please be kind to me. And then there is the Sanskrit prayer that he offers, and I will not read that. But the translation is, Om, obeisances to you, the lifter of Govardhan Hill, the pleasure of the cows, land, and senses, the Lord who resides in Gokula is the protector of the cows, the master of the Gopas, the husband of the Gopis, the lifter of the elephant among mountains, an ocean of mercy, the creator of the universes, the auspiciousness of the universes, the home where the universes dwell, the enchanter of the universes, the enchanter of many millions of Kamadevs. Kama is who? Cupid. The lover of King Vrishabhanu's daughter, who is who? Radha. A lamp shining in King Nanda's family, an all-attractive Sri Krishna, the perfect and complete, original, supreme personality of Godhead, the master of countless universes, the master of the transcendental abode of Goloka, the companion of Balaram. Sri Narada said, a person who rising in the morning recites these prayers of Indra attains all perfections. Dangers will not make him fear. After offering these prayers, Indra folded. We should pass this prayer around to the heads of government, shouldn't we? So that they'll have no fear. After offering these prayers, Indra folded his hands and, accompanied by all the demigods, bowed down before Lord Krishna. Then on beautiful Govardhan Hill, the Surabhi cow, born from the milk ocean, bathed the Gopa King Krishna. With great streams of milk. Its 4 trunks filled with celestial Ganga water. The intoxicated elephant, Ayuravata, bathed Lord Krishna. Then the joyful Devas, Kinnaras, Gandharvas, Rishis, and personified Vedas, offered prayers to Lord Krishna, and showered him with flowers. When the coronation bathing of Sri Krishna was completed, noble Govardhan Hill began to melt with joy. Pleased, the Lord left the mark of his lotus hand on the melting hill. O king, even today, that handprint can be seen on Govardhan Hill. Did you know that? Has anybody seen that handprint? Oh, Dhartamananda has seen it on Braj Parikam, Braj Govardhan Parikam. O king of Mithila, know that the footprints of Krishna left there are a great holy place that destroys the people's sins. O king of Mithila, next to Lord Krishna's footprints were the Surabhi cow's hoofprints. O king of Mithila, the celestial Ganga water that bathed Lord Krishna on Govardhan Hill became the which lake? Manasa Ganga, which destroys all sins. O king, the streams of the Surabhi cow's milk that bathed Lord Krishna on Govardhan Hill became which lake? Govinda Kund lake, which destroys the greatest sins. Sometimes the water in that lake tastes like delicious milk. One who bathes there attains Lord Krishna's feet. Circumambulating Lord Krishna, bowing down, making many offerings, calling out all glories, and showering him with flowers, the happy demigods return to their celestial abode. A person who hears this narration of Sri Krishna's ceremonial bathing attains a result much greater than the result of 10 Ashwamedha Yagyas. He attains the Supreme Creator's transcendental abode. Thus ends the narration from the Sri Garga Samhita regarding the advent of, or I should say, the worship of Sri Giriraj Govardhan. So today we will be worshiping Govardhan. What time? Today? Tomorrow? We're going to worship tomorrow? Have the hill tomorrow. Okay. Any additional comments anyone would like to make? Yes, David.
Something came to mind that you were saying some earlier reading that whoever worships Govardhan acquires supernatural powers. And obviously, there's a lot of glories when you worship. I had to think of Mother Kirtida, how she became such a staunch and fixed up devotee of Giriraj, and she did so many Govardhan Puja, and then you saw how glorious her animals.
So Rupanuga Prabhu is talking about the benefits of worshiping Govardhan, is referring to Mother Kirtida, a member of our community. I started to say former member of our community, but we have to say she's still present. And she became so much empowered by worshiping Sri Govardhan. Even in her very sickly stage, and this is recorded in Sarvabhauma Prabhu's book, Servant of Love, which has been recently published. Talks about how Mother Kirtida, even in her weakened stage, in her weakened condition from the sickness that she had been enduring for years, she would go and circumambulate Govardhan, and then the same day that she completed it, circumambulate again. Is that the way it was? Anyhow, it's amazing. And she was, those who were with her say that she was difficult to keep up with as she was walking around Govardhan. How far, what's the length of the journey? How many? 22 miles. Nartamananda.
I wanted to add in Shiva Maharaj's book, Venu Gita, there's a description.
Oh, wait. Big mark.
Well, it's just a simple.
No.
Hare Krishna. In Shiva Maharaj's book, Venu Gita, there's a beautiful description of the appearance of Govardhan Hill, and in that description, Srimati Radharani and the Gopis approach Krishna and ask Krishna to create a splendid place for their amorous pastimes. And from Krishna's own heart, Govardhan Hill becomes manifested with all its wonderful bowers and beautiful running streams. The description is actually amazing, very amazing, beyond our material vision. And as far as the parikrams go, it's nice, you can go there on this full moon night during Kartik, and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, it's countless people go there, and you can hear everybody saying, Jai Radhe and Jai Govinda, and they're walking around all through the middle of the night doing that Govardhan Parikram. And also I remember Tamal Krishna Maharaj mentioning how the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan would do that Parikram, and by offering obeisances. And he said that at that point, some of them were suffering from tuberculosis, which is a very serious and debilitating disease, and by offering obeisances constantly around Govardhan, doing that parikram, he said that they were actually performing a physical feat that would be difficult even for an Olympic athlete. So he said it indicated that they weren't on the material platform, that they were deriving their energy from the spiritual world. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you very much. Govardhan Ki Jai.
Anyone else have anything more to offer? Any other Govardhan? I had the good fortune of being in what's the palace called?
Dandaki.
Dandaki.
Dan means place of taxes or charity, and Gati.
Dandaki. Is that the name of the palace that has been purchased there, right
Just in that area.
right at the foot of Govardhan Hill? So I had the good fortune of being there, not this past summer, not the summer before, but three summers ago. And it was right around the first week or two of June, and the heat was almost unbearable. And as I was lying in one of the rooms, I was lying on my bed in one of the rooms with nothing but the ceiling fan to provide cooling. Well, of course, I would do as I've heard others say. I think Mr. Bhagavan Prabhu told me that while he was there, the only way he could stay cool was to keep himself wet constantly, wasn't it?
Yeah, with a fan going.
Because the water would evaporate. Dump a bucket of water over your head. So at night, I would completely wet a T-shirt and just put over me, and that was about the only way that I could get cool enough to sleep. And then after about 2 hours or so, I would have to get up and wet it again. The heat was intense, very intense. But at that time, I thought that this would be the only opportunity I had to go to Vrindavan and to Govardhan. So I decided that even though I was warned by many people not to go at that time, bullheadedly, I decided to go anyhow. So anyhow, as I was lying awake at night, 11 o'clock or so, I was, the palace is right beside the road that goes around Govardhan Hill. And so Hare Krishna, I would hear the people coming around late at night, very, very late at night. And there would be someone apparently leading a group of people, and he'd be saying, Radhe, Radhe, and then they would respond, Radhe, Radhe, as they went around the hill. And then the night before I left from there, then Asit Krishna Prabhu took me, actually we started, I guess, maybe 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we went. He and I both had pretty bad injuries to our feet. I'd been wearing sandals and my feet had become cracked, and so it's very difficult to walk without shoes. So he and I both somehow they got on the back of one of these little bicycle, what do they call them, rickshaws, and there was a little kind of a box like for hauling vegetables and stuff in on the back. You've seen that thing? And so one of the men who worked there at the palace took us around. We walked for maybe a couple of miles barefoot, and then we had to get onto the back of the rickshaw and be carried around. So that wasn't really a full-blown Govardhan Puja, or Govardhan Parikram. But it was about the best that we could do at that time. And then by the time we got to Radhakund, Shamakund, the sun was already coming up, and it was beginning to get hot again. So if you have the opportunity to go to Sri Govardhan, let me also suggest to you that you go in Kartik, or maybe in January, February, sometime like that, before it really starts to heat up. Because the heat is very tough, especially for this particular old, white-bodied Westerner. It was very difficult to tolerate. But somehow that we survived, and we had the privilege at the palace of going up every day up on the roof, and we could see quite a few miles of Sri Govardhan. See, an old palace. I can't remember how the hill was situated regarding the palace, regarding the directions. Do you know, Narottam? Do you know which direction the palace faces? You know, it faces Govardhan, and Govardhan is running along. You know, it's a long.
I think the palace is facing northwest.
Northwest. I think you're right.
Where that big doorway is, off on the corner. I'm pretty sure it's
northwest. So anyhow, an amazing thing. It's just it was amazing after having heard about Govardhan for so many years, to actually be there and to be able to witness it was an amazing thing. All right. Any other comments before we go? Shri Govardhan Puja ki jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai.